Hi,
welcome to Woolly Meadows Felting. My name's Bethany, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make these felted Easter eggs. I've done several different designs, and on our website, which is www.woollymeadowsfelting.com, I have a free template that you can download, which will be right next to the video. We also have lots of different supplies and wool, as well as a starter kit and Corriedale wool packs so that you can have lots of different colors to work from. You might have a stash already at home that you can use, but we also sell core wool that you can put in the middle to make your wool colors last longer. Some of your core wool, and you're just going to wrap it nice and tightly and place it onto your felting surface. Now the template has different sizes of eggs, and you can make them any size you like, but this is just a guide so that you can measure each piece. So you take your wool, this is carded wool, all the fibers are nice and intermingled already for you. You're just going to roll it nice and tight. The tighter you roll it, the less time it takes to felt, because the fibers are already nice and close. You're just going to keep rolling it until it reaches the size that you like. And when you think of an egg shape, the middle is going to have a lot more wool. So you want to make sure that as you're rolling it, you add more wool to the middle. Then place that onto your diagram. When you're ready to felt, you can put it onto your felting surface. This is a wool felting surface. It's made with wool in the middle and then a layer of felt fabric. So you take a felting needle. Felting needles have little barbs just on the last part of the needle, and you just poke in and out. You want to keep it nice and straight. Just keep turning it and poking it. Felting needles come in a variety of different sizes. Coarse needles work really well for this initial stage, but as you want no holes to be showing, you can switch over to a finer needle. So the little pokes will have smaller holes. And the needle just catches those fibers and entangles them through. You can turn it on its end and poke in those last parts on the top. You can poke the bottom. And you don't need to poke too forcefully. The needle will do all the work. But do keep in mind where your fingers are at all times. And remember, they are a little pointy on the one end, so poke gently. You can also use multi-needle tools and speed up the process, or you can grab two needles and use them together and poke them in and out. So you can see that it starts to hold its shape pretty quickly. And you can shape it as you go. You can pinch the wool the shape that you'd like it. Now that you have your finished core of the egg, you can coat it in any color that you'd like. You can also use 100% the wool color that you intend to use, but it is a nice way of making your colors last longer if you want to use core wool in the middle. So once you've picked out your color, you can take your roving or your wool slivers, and you just want to make it a nice thin layer and wrap it around the egg. And then poke this until it's nice and smooth. Here's one that's a little further along in the process. And you can take just little pieces of fiber and coat the top and poke those in as well. And if you need to make your egg a little bit rounder in the middle, you just take a piece of your wool roving and just wrap it and poke it in place. And then keep poking that until it's smooth. So I'm going to show you how to make this little bunny rabbit design. You use white wool, and then it's a sort of a pinkish gray color for the tail. And on the template there's a little diagram for it, so you can follow this shape, or you can cut around the shape and use that as a guide. So what I like to do when I'm visualizing the shape that I would like to felt, I break it into two sections. So this bottom half of the bunny looks like a bell shape, so I'm going to do that first. And you just poke it directly onto the egg. Of course, watching where your fingers are. And you just move it with your fingers where you want the design to go. You can use your needle to tuck in the wool along the edge to make it nice and neat, but you do have to be very careful when you're doing that because the needle is a little fragile on the very tip, so you don't want to break it. So once you have that shape all poked to about the right size that you want, you can poke in the head. You'll take some white wool, just kind of fold it into a circle, put it in place, and felt that down. So you're just going to take some wool and then fold little ears and then felt them in place. If it's too big, you can always just pull a little bit off. And poke them in with your needle. And this is just roughly poked in. It'll need to be poked further until it's nice and smooth. But it gives you an idea of how I do it. And then for the bunny's tail, you just take a little bit of your tail color fold it into the shape that you want, and then poke it in place. And you just want to keep working on it until it's nice and smooth. A really easy one is just bright colored dots, and you just take a bit of fiber, place it where you'd like, and then poke it in. And then, like I was saying, carefully just drag those fibers and tuck them in. And you can use lots of different colors, and there's lots of possibilities for what you can do, but the patterns are nice because you can follow them along and they look great. They give you lots of ideas. You can also do smaller details, like on this one I've done little sprinkles. You just take a little piece of, like a really tiny piece, and you can roll it between your fingers so that it's a bit smoother to work with. You won't need a huge part, just a tiny bit. And then place it where you'd like it, felt it in place with the needle. And all of the details are made in some variation of this. You can also do little speckles on the egg. This is more of a natural looking egg, and that's made with tiny little dots. And then you have ones like the birdhouses. And I'll just show you that you're taking a bit of wool and then you poke it in with your needle. And this is the start of a house. And you just take your fingers and fold the wool where you'd like it, and then poke it in place. So you're looking for a square shape. And then of course a pointy roof. And you're just going to keep poking that until it's nice and smooth. And the roof is made with just a little bit of pink. You place that on there. And then felt the other side. And then again, keep poking this until it's nice and smooth. There's also the daisy chain, and that's simply made by pulling out your fiber until it reaches a nice thin strand. You can twist it slightly, and this helps just organize those fibers. And then bend it with your fingers. Hold it in place, and then poke along the fiber. And this is an organic kind of pattern. It doesn't have to be exact all the way around. And then you just connect it to your next flower. So you can pull off the roving that you don't need and poke in that last bit. And then start your next flower. That would use a little bit of white wool for each petal. And then build up the design from there. This one has similar line work. You're just forming a strand, bending it to where you'd like it to go, poke it with the needle until it holds, and then start bending it back the other way. So you're just following an up-down pattern all the way along. And you can see that it's level, and you can start bending it back down. And this one you're taking it the other way, so it goes down and up, and they intersect all the way along. This design has similar bands of color. You're just doing the zigzag all the way down, and then little dots. And this one I'm going to show you how to do little sheep on it. So you just fold your fiber to make a little body, and then you're just poking it in. And this is a little oval shape for the little lamb. And then nearby I'm going to do another body for the front facing. This side. And you can continue putting sheep all the way around. You can never have enough sheep. So you're going to take a tiny bit of black wool and just fold it, put it in place, and then poke it with your needle. And then two very tiny bits for the ears. another bit. And then for the legs, you're just taking a bit of black fiber, rolling it between your fingers, and then felting it in place. And the nice thing about felted eggs is that you can make them really meaningful to you. So just do the designs that make you happy. And you can keep adding to your egg collection over the years. And you can share them with your family and your grandkids. You can all have a lot of fun. They make lovely Easter decorations. Perfect. And you do the same for this one as well. So I'm going to show you how to do the bluebell. I have a few different flowers on the template. And this one's the bluebells. And to do that, you just take a bit of, I'm using this turquoise green color. And again, you just pull out a thin strand. I like to roll it to just smooth and organize the fibers. And then simply felt along. You can bend and curve it. And if you don't need the end bit, you can just pull it off. And just take tiny tufts of wool. Smooth the fibers. And attach it to the stem. To make the bells, I take a bit of blue wool. And you just drag the fibers into the place that you want them to be. And I've done several different designs. This is how the bluebells look. This is the tulip, the daffodil, the snowdrop. And all of them are made with just tiny tufts of wool. And you can poke them in place with the needle and bend the wool as you need to with your fingers and then poke it in place. To highlight the bells, I use a light blue and a purple. And you can blend these wools together pull them through your fingers. And then poke them in place. So I'm going to move on to show you how to do the daffodil. Start by making the stem. And you can bend the last part up for a leaf if you'd like to. And this time I'm going to make a white daffodil. And you can just follow the template for the shape. Usually I do each petal individually, but if you feel like you can make 2 at a time. And using a bit of orange, you just make the center of the daffodil. And poke it in place. There are lots of different patterns. Some are bold and some are delicate, but the most important thing is to make them meaningful to you and to enjoy felting. If you'd like to visit our website, the pattern will be on there with the template and a few inspirational photographs for you to take a look at. Thank you so much for joining us for this tutorial. Please do subscribe to our channel and like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We would love to connect with you. And do visit our website for supplies and more tutorials in the future. Thank you so much.